Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for Thursday, April 28th, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only to support your knowledge in the market. See what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, let's take a look as usual. Following the trading session focus, we are in week 17. We are almost at the end of the month, Thursday. Looking at the ESYM, NQ, and the crude today, only 3 markets, 9 setups, 86 total. I know you're wondering, what the heck? What a nice run. Why only 86 ticks today? Well, Jedi traders, I had to take a leave from the room today. So not able to get the mindset in the afternoon session. So let that runaway trend go. Only got a little bit of piece of it. So that's where we left things off today. It was the NQ this morning, though, on the early morning setup. As we'll see here in a moment on the other indices. Price action lifting up in the greens with all 4 charts. Again, executing a little bit of a different trading plan today. Again, this trader usually looking for setups with 2 contracts, one off at around 6 to 10 ticks and then letting the runner go. Today only trading 1 contract in and out, as you can see, waiting patiently for the setup. Buy signal, T3 moving averages crossing over with the 534. It was all in the green in the AM session. One entry after another, including a re-entry above, and ending the AM session with 30 plus ticks, 34 ticks to be exact, and then coming back in the afternoon session and grabbing a piece of the price action to the downside. All right, we'll come back to that in a little bit. Let's jump into the daily big pick. Here we have the NQ on a daily picture up above across the board, and the 5144s below. Let's jump right in. By the way, before we get to that, let's take a look at what econ data was released today. The GDP, that's right, the GDP, which slightly down. Jobless claims came out as well, just slightly higher. Again, we are on post FOMC. We're on post FOMC. How many times before have we had a run up and then the next day market tends to sell off, or vice versa? So always look for a reversal, sometimes not 100% trend on the opposite day. We are also in window dressing, end of the month. Couple news earnings out today, as well as Carl Icahn releasing his shares in Apple. Perhaps that having to do with the market coming down in the afternoon, but you never know. Doesn't matter. Just trade the charts in front of you. All right, taking a look here at the daily big pick on the 3 major indices, and then we'll take a look here at crude. Finishing off yesterday, a little bit of, obviously we had a crossover of the 5144 on the 4-hour chart. That indicates there that price action is technical momentum shifting to the downside, and it's exactly what happened today. T3 moving averages coming down in the afternoon session. YM and ES have not followed through, but we did test that 144 EMA. You can see right here, price action coming all the way down to around 2067, and the YM surpassing 741 all the way down to 720. But it's the daily pictures. Good volume today across the board, hitting above that 60 period moving average. The NQ, we found support at the 50 EMA, closing right under 50 period moving average today, and the ES and YM tapping those 144s and just closing above. All right, we'll come back to this chart and what I'm looking for as far as price action tomorrow. Let's go ahead and take a look at the AD line, advancers and decliners for today. The advancers, again, pushing that price action at the beginning downside, but then we got that lift that we just saw in the NQ with a couple of those entries to the upside. mid-session chop, which I was out of the trading room. Again, obviously not much missed. And then it was that afternoon sell-off as price action was making its way down to that zero, broke it. As soon as it broke that zero, I saw that market fly down to 750 and even below. That was a total sell-off today. Taking a look at the fib projection levels as we do each day in the market. Here's our NQ price action. Again, based on Fibonacci targets, not necessarily a matter of momentum, but again, fib levels coming up to that 40.75 all the way down to 87 and surpassing that as well. Taking a look at the YM Fibonacci projections as well, high 934. Again, these are auto-plotted each day based on yesterday's price action. The white line is the midnight open, 17,866 here on the YM, and price action breaking down to 767. The solid line here, 839, the weekly Fibonacci level. Again, finding that price action breaking down and closing right above it. And finally, take a look at the ES price action all the way downside, hitting that target low 2071.50 as well as the target high 89.25, midnight open around 2081. So holding below that, and 2078.75 is the weekly Fibonacci. Let's take a look at the big picture on crude. Big pick here on the indices. Big picture on crude still holding to the upside. Price action breaking up here, holding to that 50-period moving average that we saw yesterday. We talked about how price action hit that open gap. Again, weekly and dailies still sitting upside here on the upper right-hand charts. Crude still on the monthly downside as we work our way up to that Fibonacci extension, 47.97. Let's jump right over to the daily gaps as we could see that level up here closing out yesterday from November 5th to be exact, 2015, closing out and still pushing upside. So upside levels 47.97, including an upper level at 55.41. Pay heed to the fact that price action still has open gaps to the downside that eventually the market will eventually come back and close those out. So 100% guarantee you can look for crude to come back downside, maybe not to the lows that Goldman Sachs was predicting down at 18, but at least to levels around 30. When that happens, I can't tell you. I can just tell you right now the probability is not yet there. Let's take a look at the daily YM as the daily gaps. We have one down here at 656. Downside NQ, we have already broken the gap to the downside here, which we had just from 2 days ago. Not much of a draw downside, 31.75. Close that out today and coming back downside. We do have open gaps back up to the upside. Right now, the probability of grabbing those upside targets not as likely. While we have an open gap all the way down at 40.17, we're not exactly there, but we're starting to make that move as price action on, that's right, go back to the daily big pick, and you'll see that price action now, T3 moving average is crossing over. If the YM breaks this 144 EMA, then again, like we just saw in the daily gap on the YM, we can expect that we'll also possibly come down here and close that 656, so another level to keep on the charts. Taking a look at the daily ES price action with already breaching those 2015 highs, 2103.25. We have an open gap down here at 2058.50. And again, the crude, as we just looked at before, continuing to push upside. All right, taking a look at the major indices here, including crude. Let's take a look at the daily trend as we saw the crude making a wonderful, amazing push up on 3 charts in the green and finally 4 charts in the green, pushing above the 51.44 EMA, technical momentum to the upside. So whether you're watching the HA bars, the Heikin Ashi bars to keep you in trend, or looking for price action on multiple moving averages, as we can see here posted today online, the crude sitting above the 13 EMA, 50 above the 144, and multiple trend studies, which I continue to alert any possible trader to. Do they want to watch all or just some? It doesn't matter. All multiple trend studies keeping you in the trade to the upside. All right, so there's trend trade number 1 of the day. Trend trade number 2 of the day, as we saw down here, is posted on here online already at tradingfibs.com. The YM, NQ, and ES all to the upside. That's it. There's our crude. And there's our multiple moving averages based on T3 moving averages crossing over. These are 1-minute charts and a variety of different trend studies. Either one, it's all about letting the winner run and not cutting it short. So let's jump right into crude. There was the trend trade of the day right there on the crude to the upside. Multiple moving averages keeping you in the trend. T3 moving averages crossing over, and price action 50 above the 144 to keep you upside until you exited out. Taking a look at the YM. Again, YM early session. T3 moving averages in the green. Finally around post 15 minutes of the open. A nice buy signal to the upside. Times 2 with 50 above the 144. And finally mid-session chop. And then it was the drop down to make trend session number 2 trend trade of the day on all 3 indices as they rode down to the downside. 50 breaking the 144, price action underneath, and all the HA bars and all 4 charts in the red. Taking a look at the NQs, we saw price action in the morning, finding a couple opportunities on the break upside. Nothing smooth in the morning session taken out, but it was all in the afternoon session as price action broke to the downside, and eventually price action here, best of entries right here around 2:37 Eastern Standard Time, as price action on the 1-minute chart or 2-minute chart here on the 51.44 holding to the 50-period moving average all the way to the downside. And then post-market close, cash close, earnings out Amazon, giving the NQ a little bit of a lift. Take a look at the ES here. Price action again, similar picture in AM session. 4 charts in the green, that's what you're looking for. Times 2. And then to the downside in the PM session, right there all the way downside, riding it from almost the highs here, 2090 down to 2066. Nice move. 3 charts in the red and 50 below the 144, keeping you in the trend to the downside. So whether you're watching the T3 moving averages, the HA bars, the 51.44, or as just shown here on the multiple moving averages to keep you in the trend to the downside, it's about letting your winners run. And taking a look at the, let's see what else. We got the ES here. All right, we covered the ES. We covered the NQ. We covered the YM. Just want to make sure we covered all our indices, including the crude. Yes, we did. And so there are the trend highlights for today. So looking at tomorrow as price action for econ data. Looking at Friday, personal income outlays, employment costs, PMI consumer sentiment to round off the week. Again, it's about window dressing for tomorrow. Let's get back to that big picture that we just started off with. Take a look at the daily big pick. What am I looking for? I might be looking for the overnight session to continue the sell-off from today's end of the market downside trend. And then U.S. markets to either hold the line or break the 144 EMA. If U.S. markets unable to hold that 144 EMA, I would then look downside to the 50 EMA on both the YM and the ES, and then the 200 period moving averages on the ES and the YM if we break downside those. If NQ continues to roll down, look for continued solid body tails down on the 4-hour chart, and then looking for the intraday setup, always looking for the best setup on all 4 moving averages. I'm sorry, not moving averages, on all 4 charts as we show in our intraday setup. Any levels down will include projection levels. Let's get to, there we go. Taking a look at projection levels downside, you can look for former levels of support, or for that matter, any line that you have on your chart that you follow each and every day. All right, that concludes an insight into the state of the indices and the daily trend. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra of one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at Trading Fibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts. And as always, leave your bias at the door when trading. Have yourselves a Blue Zone day. Good day, good night, and good trading.